So, hi, Nick. Thank you very much for agreeing to answer some questions. So, we're going to kick things off with where are you now in your celebrant journey, and how has your life changed since you decided to welcome into the world of celebrancy?
Okay, so I guess I'd say I'm at the beginning of my journey. So I qualified in June last year. Um, I've not really got started with it, or I didn't really get started with it until the end of the year when I retired from full-time work. So my experience since the new year has basically been about getting myself out there, talking to funeral directors, trying to get myself on their lists. And I've managed to do one funeral so far, which I found an incredibly rewarding experience. So I'm just trying to build things up, but also enjoying the fact I don't have to work.
So, what did you do before you became a celebrant then? So, what did you retire from?
I was an IT consultant, so I was a director at a medium sized IT consultancy that specialized in life sciences. So they worked with pharmaceutical companies, etc. So I'd spent the last, oh gosh, 40 odd years of my working life tapping away at keyboards.
So, why did you decide to become a celebrant then?
Well, I did the eulogies for my parents' weddings, funerals, I should say. Um, and that seemed to go well, and I got a great deal of comfort from doing that. Um, and then when my father-in-law died, um, just about 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago, um, my wife and her brother asked me if I'd do a reading. He knew the end was coming, so he'd spoken about what he wanted, and he'd got a particular reading that he wanted. Neither of them thought that they could do it, and so they asked me. And because my experience from work was in doing presentations and running workshops, I was sort of used to standing up in front of crowds of people. Um, and so I delivered it, wanted to make sure I did him sort of justice and honor his memory sort of appropriately. And at the end of it, the celebrant that they had came up to me, thanked me for doing it, and just said, had I thought about doing this as a job? And I thought I hadn't, but it was kind of a light bulb moment. So immediately after that, I drove back home and I started looking at courses that were available and came across AMC and signed up.
So, what made you choose to train with the AMC then?
The blunt answer is you had an offer on.
That's fine, it's good.
But I did the quiz. I had a look. A lot of the ones that I did look at were either residential courses, sort of spread over a couple of weeks, and I like the idea of being able to self-paced study. So being able to study, but also be able to carry on working and fit that study into my life and other sort of demands on my time as well.
So, based on that, then, how do you feel the AMC supported you in that learning and development style so that you could continue to work?
Yeah, really well. So I mean, it was flexible. The calls, the sort of the bi-weekly catch-ups, I found really useful, and when I could get on them, I would. The fact that you had a whole year to be able to complete the course meant I could actually schedule what I was going to do, and I gave myself my own deadline of completing it within 6 months. Um, and I was able to spend 3 or 4 hours over a weekend just going through the various modules, doing a lot of reading, doing a lot of research and giving my wife a lot of peace and quiet as well. So it was good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. And having that flexibility to work at a speed that's relevant to you at a time that's right for you
yeah,
is much better than a classroom based.
yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah.
So, what was the most inspiring or exciting part of the course for you?
For me, I think it was the script writing. Um, I'm a frustrated writer, so I've been trying to write a book for the last 5 or 6 years. So I've found being able to take someone's memories and sort of create a narrative around that to sort of tell a story. I found that just really, really rewarding. I suppose the most rewarding part was actually doing the actual delivery of the service. I learned so much about myself doing that, and what I was capable of as well. Even though I have a background of being able to stand up in front of people, to actually replay that back to yourself to find out, am I looking down a lot? Am I not engaging with people? I just found really, really useful. Yeah.
Well, that's great. So, what advice would you give to somebody considering celebrant training then?
I'd say if you're passionate about it, if you're passionate about providing care for other people, and you have a skill set, if you're personable, if you're empathetic, if you're able to listen to people and you're able to take in the information, I'd say go for it. The writing element, that's a plus as well. That's a bonus for me. But it's being able to support people possibly at their lowest ebb. And I remember from my experiences with my parents and my wife's experience with her father, how stressful those periods are, and just to be able to say to someone, I've got you. Don't worry about this. I'll take care of things. Um, I think is genuinely really rewarding.
It absolutely is. So having done a funeral ceremony now, what did you take away from that sort of linked you back to your learning? Was there any moments during that process of working with that family or individual?
It was the the importance of being present with them. They the circumstances were quite surreal. It was the partner of a woman who had lived with this guy for 30 years, um, but actually knew very little about him. Very little about his previous life before he met her. So it was listening and trying to tease information out, just trying to make sure you could build things up and just guide the person sort of down particular paths, memory paths or whatever, just to get something that you could use. And I think the modules that I'd done where it spoke about meeting the families or the loved ones, and just taking them through that process, basically putting a sort of an arm around them, and making them feel comfortable with sharing information. I think that was something I sort of remember from the training, which sort of helped me.
So are you all set up now on social media and the internet? Have you got a website where anyone can come and
I've
find you?
I've got a website. I'm not particularly good with social media, so I'm
Okay.
I'm, I'm kind of I'm kind of okay with Facebook to a degree, but Instagram and things like that, I'm too old, I think.
So where
Um,
can we find you on the World Wide Web then? What's
well,
your
I've got a website, nicholasparsonscelebrant.co.uk. So I've gone for name recognition. So for years I have hated my name, and now I'm embracing it. So thank you very much for my parents for that. And I kind of think it's catchy. It's memorable. People
It
do,
speaks to you. It's who
yeah,
you are. Yeah, and
yeah,
how people will connect with you, which is
yeah.
great.
I mean, people do sort of bring up Sale of the Century all the time, so I'm happy with that. I'm comfortable.
So, what are you most looking forward to now as you launch a new business and you go into celebrancy? How do you think it's going to bring a different dynamic to your life?
Um, I think the the social interaction side. I think working in IT, especially over the last 6 years, because I was home based, you miss that social interaction element. So actually going out and talking to people and meeting people, um, and just taking them through a process, just guiding them. I kind of like to think I'm sort of friendly and approachable. And it's just to bring that sort of character set to it. But it's also the way that the industry is potentially changing with things like direct cremations. So how that could be seen as an opportunity for celebrants, that you don't necessarily have to go through a funeral director to get the work, that you can market yourself to get work. So I've spent time getting in touch with local organisations that are of a particular age group, just to see if they want me to come along and do talks. I have plans to get in touch with venues to see if they do celebration of life services or packages, and if they don't, to sort of say, are you missing an opportunity here? Perhaps I can come in and discuss that with you. So I think there's there's sort of exciting elements to it, and just trying to put a different spin on things as well.
Yeah, no, they're all good things. And like you say, it takes time to build that network and to
Yeah,
then be able to offer that support. So if you could do your celebrancy training journey differently, would there be anything you'd like to change?
the only thing I actually lost points on was I didn't mention the baby's name in the email, and
Okay.
it bugs me because I would have got 100% throughout the whole course.
Oh, well done. You got a really high grade then throughout. Well done. So is there anyone from the AMC team you'd like to give a little shout out to and if so, why?
I think my mentor Roz, who was absolutely brilliant. She was incredibly encouraging, um, really positive, and just a delight to talk to. Miranda, as well, who I've been on a couple of her marketing calls and then had a sign off call with her. And again, she's a font of knowledge in terms of celebrancy. And I mean, you, Penny. I mean, I sort of I've been on calls, the sort of bi-weekly calls where you've hosted, and also read your advice on Facebook. So I think it's just lovely. There's this whole community there, that's very very supportive. And I mean, just this week, I've met up with three other celebrants that studied with AMC, and we met up for a coffee, to have a chat. And they were all sort of extolling the virtues. So yeah, I think it's you, Roz, Miranda, and basically everyone at AMC.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you today, Nick. I wish you
And you.
all the success on your funeral celebrant journey, and hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Penny.